There's that man again.
Sometimes you want to be masculine and still have a bit of elegance about yourself. You can achieve that. I have 6 fragrances here that'll do that just for you. Stay tuned. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Teddy Files. I'm your resident sommelier, Mr. Dearest Teddy. And today we are talking about masculine, elegant fragrances. What do I mean by that? Well, the realm of masculine it has a large spectrum to it. It can be powerful refinement, and it can be downright caveman like, which is why I'm not a teddy bear, I'm a grizzly bear. So I can go from, you know, one spectrum to downright grizzly if you take me the wrong way. But it's not what we're getting at. What we're trying to get at is fragrances that give you an air of masculinity while still being elegant. And the first one that I could possibly think of, because I scoured the collection, there's quite a few that I could use in this space, but I felt like these 6 best represented what I was trying to convey when I first did this list. And the first one that I wanted to talk about was Dunhill Custom. So this fragrance, to me, it's a bit odd, and not odd in a bad way, because the fragrance smells boozy to me, but there's not one boozy note in it. So let's get it here. Atomizer's okay. Not anything groundbreaking, but we're trying to get at the scent. And I already smell that booziness. Like, this is an absolutely amazing fragrance. It's a very cheap fragrance. It doesn't cost a lot. Not the longest lasting. I think you can get about 5 or 6 hours of it, but it's the fragrance itself. You get a good amount of that red apple at the top, and in the middle you get that black pepper, and in the base you get the incense and the Virginian cedar. But something makes all of those flavors and scents come together to give it this booziness. There's a whiskey type of smell to it, almost a sweet type of whiskey smell to it. But this, to me, honestly, this fragrance right here is underrated. It's not talked about a lot, especially in the Dunhill line. There's so many bangers in the Dunhill line. This one gets overlooked. But you know what? I'm hoping that me talking about it today kind of helps just a little bit of, to try to get it back to the place where people have a conversation about it. And that would be, before we go there, hold on. We got to tell you about the sillage. The sillage is pretty good. Believe it or not, it actually is it's phenomenal if you really think about it, because I've actually gotten quite a few compliments with this fragrance. So for about $20 to $30, you can get a compliment monster and a pretty good underrated masculine fragrance, and that would be Dunhill Custom. So I'm pretty sure you guys can see that the attire is not exactly masculinely elegant, and that is because me and Mrs. Grizz are moving. Yes, we are moving out of this bear cave into a brand new bear cave. And right now we have to stage the place to get it prepared and ready for people to walk through and be ready to purchase the house. And not to mention, I didn't feel like putting on no bow ties and stuff just to kind of represent what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fragrance, not what I'm wearing today. It's Sunday, I'm chilling. But now that I got that ran out of the way, my next fragrance that I want to talk about is Bleue Dissey by Miyake. Look, I think this might be, I'm not sure, I have to really do a few more tests. This might be my favorite Issey fragrance, because man, there's something, gotta whirl that around. There's something phenomenal about this fragrance, man. I'm telling you, this one is made for any time of the year. It can work in the summer, maybe a cooler day in the summertime. It could work in the wintertime. I think this one will cut through the cold pretty good. And spring and fall, it's a masterpiece in those 2 seasons. Some of your fragrance notes, I'm not going to read them all off. I'll give you an understanding of everything that I get when I use the fragrance. I get a good amount of the lime, rosemary, and orange. I get some of that cypress and juniper berries. I definitely get some of that zip from those juniper berries and the cleanliness from the lavender. And I get, as it starts to dry down, a lot of the cedar, a lot of the patchouli, the oak moss, and some of that sandalwood comes in and just kind of smooths everything out. This fragrance to me is some of the best work that Issey Miyake has had. I still want to get the one, I think it's the flanker to this one. I can't remember what it's called. I know it's called Blue Dissey. I think it's like a cologne or something. I'm not sure. I'll look it up, but it's something I want to get my hands on. But the one I'm talking about right now will last about 6 to 7 hours on my skin. Sillage is absolutely phenomenal on this one, and that would be Issey Miyake's Blue Dissey. So the next fragrance that I got coming up is one that I don't see on anybody's list, and it is a damn shame, because if you want to talk about masculinely elegant, you got to start and maybe even stop with this fragrance here, and that would be Murdock of London's Black Tea. Now, I've been talking about this fragrance for quite a while. Fougere, Chypre, kind of in that realm as well. And the part that will probably shock you guys, there's no tea in this, no black tea, no nothing, but the fragrance itself. And I have to get this back on my skin because I haven't put it on in a while, and I think this is something I'm probably going to wear this week. So be tuned in for the next video. Of course, it's going to be coming out after this one, and I'll tell you my weekly workwear, because I think I'm going to put this one in the weekly workwear video. But this one, yeah. It is a crime that people don't talk about this one. 8-hour longevity. Sillage is absolutely phenomenal. This is a sensational fragrance, man. I mean, you want to talk about with your top notes. You got that Madagascar cloves, the nutmeg, the pepper, the basil, middle notes of leather. You got that musk, woody notes, and birch in the bottom of this fragrance. It doesn't have it in there, but it does have somewhat of a tea kind of smell to it. Like I said, man, this fragrance right here is phenomenal. I'll find it so I can link it for you guys to be able to get your hands on it. I'm not sure if they have samples. There are two spots in my description box that I have that are for samples. The sample spots that I use, which is Decant X, and I forget what the name of the other one is. I've been using that one for a while. But try those 2 places and see if you can find a decant of this, because it is definitely worth checking out. If you like masculine Fougere, Chypre type fragrances, then in all honesty, this is one that you need to be getting in your cart and getting in your conversation, and that would be Murdock of London Black Tea. So the next fragrance that I want to talk about is another fragrance that people don't talk about very much. I'm not sure why, but if you are into fragrances, this is one that should be in your fragrance conversation, and that is Monsieur le Prince Elegance. This one here, like I said, this is another one I've been talking about for quite a while. And this, dare I say, has a pure elegance to it. Definitely masculine, not unisex, but there is a softness about this one that it's not weird, but I can't. It's hard to put it into words because it has a slight powderiness to it, but there's nothing in here that would indicate that it should be powdery at all. Let me give you your fragrance notes. Top notes are bergamot and mint. Your middle notes are violet leaf and geranium, and your base notes are vetiver, sandalwood, and patchouli. This fragrance here, like I said, when you first spray it on, it punches so far above what you would pay for it. I believe I paid about $30 to $40 for this fragrance, and it punches so far above that as far as the smell goes. Like I said, 6 to 7 hours of longevity. The sillage is phenomenal. The sillage it does not become a skin scent until at least about an hour to hour and a half into the fragrance. This is a phenomenal fragrance, and I really don't know why a lot of people aren't talking about it. But today, when we're talking about masculinely elegant fragrances, I would have been remiss had I not put this on the list, and that would be Monsieur Le Prince Elegance. So the next fragrance that I got coming up definitely embodies elegance and masculinity and timelessness. So when I talk about masculine elegance, very hard to leave this one off the list, and that would be Cartier Déclaration Fraiche. One of my personal favorites from the line. Now, I won't say I prefer this over the other ones, but it is definitely, if I had a top 10 Cartier list, I know keep saying Cartier list, then this would probably be number 3. Definitely would be number 3. This one here, elegant, masculine, somewhat sweet, slight bit of sweetness, not even enough to classify it as overly sweet. It just has enough to tickle the nose to say, what is that? That's maybe like a sweet spice or something like that. But this is an awesome fragrance, man. This is one that I love getting on my skin. Somewhat vegetal, but honestly, that works very well on my skin. Some of your fragrance notes are citrus leaf, cardamom, and cedar. And the Déclaration line tends to have, I believe it's cumin in it. I don't know if there's cumin in this one. The notes don't indicate, but you already know the 3-note breakdown doesn't tell you everything that's in this fragrance. What I do know is that I get about 6 hours of longevity out of it, and the sillage is very, very refined. It's not one that's going to explode off the skin, but you will have an amazing scent bubble, and you will definitely get noticed. So this fragrance right here, is it worth the purchase for me? It was, because I have it in my collection. But for you, once again, get a sample, try it out, see if you like it. If you like it, I hope you actually love it. And if you don't, you just got a sample. It didn't cost you that much. And for me, definitely worth a full purchase, and that would be Cartier Déclaration Fraiche. Now, the last fragrance on the list, this wouldn't even be a legitimate list if I did not put this fragrance on the list, and that would be Tom Ford's Vetiver. Masculine, check. Refined, check. Elegant, double check. This fragrance right here. Now, it took me a while to get into Vetiver. Quite a while, actually. Because I think I got a couple of cheap fragrances that had Vetiver in it, and it smelled like somebody just cut their lawn. Not something I want to wear on my skin. But when I started getting a little bit deeper and a little bit further into the conversation about Vetiver, and noticed that there are differences and nuances to Vetiver, man, if it's not one of my favorite fragrance notes now, and this fragrance embodies it. And I'm talking about refinement, elegance, masculinity, just actual sensational fragrance. This one right here is one that I was so happy to get in my collection. It took me some time. I had a decant of it a while ago, and I kept saying, you know what, I got to get this in my collection. And I kept putting it off, not sure why. But one day I saw it, and it had a great deal on it. And I said, if I don't get it now, that means I really just don't want it. And I did want it. So pulled the trigger, got it in, have worn it several times. It is a compliment monster on me. I don't know about anybody else, but on me, I get compliments every time I wear this. Some of your fragrance notes in this one are grapefruit, orange blossom, and sage. You got your middle notes of nutmeg, orris root, and pimento. And you got your base notes of vetiver, woodsy notes, oak moss, and amber. This fragrance right here once again, in my opinion, is the epitome embodiment of masculinity and elegance all rolled up into one package. The longevity for me has always been 8 hours, and the sillage for me has always been outstanding. So I'm not sure what it'll do for you, but for me, it has always done the job, and that would be Great Vetiver by Tom Ford. Well, everyone, that is the list. Those are the 6 fragrances that I feel embody masculinity and elegance at the same time. So if you want to try any of these fragrances out, I will put them in the description box as long as I can find every single one of them. And a few of the links in the description box they will be affiliated links, but you don't have to use them. I will have links to other places as well. They just help out the channel. If you guys decide that you want to use the links, that's absolutely fine, but you don't absolutely have to use it just to look at this video. I'm actually happy that you guys took the time out to watch this video and listen to me yap for about 20 or 30 minutes or so, or however long this video took. And please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the content because it helps the channel to grow. Please make sure that you hit the bell icon so that you get notified every single time I upload a video, because my name is Mr. Diaz Teddy, your fragrance sommelier. And over here we don't do stink, so please don't be a stink ass. Have a good one.